According to Chris Anderson in his TED Talk, a presentation is a journey. So with me, in this journey with me today or tonight, I will take you to 3 routes. And these 3 routes will take us to one destination. And this destination is the idea that I would like to share with you tonight. Before that, I'm Zaki, your driver. I am currently a proofreading consultant with more than 7 years experience. The first 2 years, I provided the proofreading service on part-time basis. The next 2 years, I did that on a full-time basis. And since last 3 years, I changed the career from a proofreader to a proofreading consultant. Because I believe with this position, I can not only help my clients, I can also help many other proofreaders out there. Okay, are you ready to go with me to these 3 roads now? Yeah, okay, now buckle up and let's get started. Okay, the first road is about books. Okay, may I see hands of those of you in front of me who love reading books? Love reading books? Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your participation in this survey. Okay, if not all, many of you love reading books. Reading books makes us what we are today. Some people say we are what we read. Is that right? Is that correct, teacher? Yeah. However, do you know before a book is published, there is one process that is very crucial that makes the book as perfect as it is. Without this process, the book will not look as it will not be as easy to understand, as nice to skip as it is now. We'll move to the next road first before we get to the idea, shall we? Okay, the second road is about being particular and attention to details. Okay, if we go to, for example, if we go to Kuala Lumpur, we can see a lot of car plates starting with W, correct? And how about we go to Malacca? We can see a lot of car plates starting with M, correct? Okay, from the perspective of a proofreader, what makes our eyes and our heart so feel ill when we see W become M's, M become W? Okay, let me show you this. Can you see the car plate in front? Do you read WWM? But do you know those are actually M? Okay, M should stand straight like that, and a W a bit slanted like that. Okay, yeah, the point here is, if you can pay attention to such a detail or to such an extent, you can become a proofreader. Okay, we are not done yet with the second route. Let me show you this one. M and W, we have discussed that. What about this one? Okay, do you read 1 times 10 to the power of negative 5? Do you read so? Okay, but to the eyes of a proofreader like me, I read that as 1x 10 to the power of -5. Okay, let me show you the correct expression, the correct mathematical expression for 1 times 10 to the power of -5. Do you notice the difference between the alphabet X and the multiplication symbol? And how about the hyphen and the minus sign? If you can find such a slight difference between the 2 symbols, the 2 alphabet, you can become a proofreader. Okay, we are not done yet with the W. Did you hear that? I said W, but do you see W there or double V? Okay, some people call us proofreader as people or nerds suffering from obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. But the fact is, we don't mind. Just call us that, because we need that ability and we need that skill to survive in our proofreading career. We need to be that good to pay attention to detail, to find slight difference between two things. Okay, let's go to the third road, shall we? Okay, spelling and grammar. Okay, nowadays we are living in internet age. Every day we write emails, every day we make Facebook posts, we write Facebook posts. But the thing is, some of us, especially those proofreaders who are very particular about spelling and grammar, we are very good at identifying mistakes right after hitting the submit post. After we submit, only then we notice, I made a mistake, I made a spelling mistake, I made a grammar mistake. That's the problem. If it's an email sent to a friend or a Facebook post on our Facebook profile, we have not so much to worry. But what about we make such a silly mistake when we apply for a job? And that job is one that particularly needs us to be particular. But we fail at the very first step at applying for the job, which is to write a grammar perfect email. Or we are the type of person who don't mind when we are called grammar Nazi. Okay. We just call us so because we don't mind, because we really need to be a grammar Nazi, because people pay us, or especially the proofreaders, to find grammar mistakes. So let us go to this definition of proofreader. Okay, first, before that, what is a proof? A proof is a material being proofread. Okay. And the task of a proofreader is to find mistakes and correct the mistakes before a book is published. Before the book is published, we must do this step in order to make the book great, in order to make the book as perfect as possible. The question is, can we proofread our own document? Can we find mistakes in the thing that we write ourselves? For example, last year when I wrote my own thesis, I proofread my own thesis. Yes, so I can safely say that we can proofread our own document. But if we follow the formula that I have in front, I believe we can produce a very well proofread document. So this formula is divided into 5, and it's derived from the word proofread. Shall we discuss the formula one by one? Shall we? Let's go to the first part of the formula, PR. In order for us to produce the best proofreading result, we must first PR. PR stands for what? PR stands for put to rest. Put what to rest? Put our eyes to rest. We must rest our eyes before we start proofreading the document. That OO is symbolizing our eyes. Okay? Yeah. Why must we rest our eyes? Because we want to delete all possible visual memory that our eye and our brain keep. If we still keep them in our mind, we will tend to skip mistake that we write ourselves. However, the question is, how long should we rest our eye? There is no definite answer, but the guideline is it must be long enough for us to erase all the visual memory, and it must be short enough for us to meet the deadline. Okay, however, sometimes we don't have the time to put our eyes to rest. So what can we do? We should find a PR. PR also stands for proofreader. Why? Proofreader has fresh eyes. They do not know what is there in your document. So they most possibly will not skip any mistakes in the document. So most possibly also, the proofread document will be very good in terms of its quality. Okay, so PR stands for put to rest and proofreader, OOI. Okay, let's move to the third part of the formula, the F. What the F? The F here stands for final. The final here refers to the final version of the document. We must proofread the final version only. Okay, the thing is about proofreading, it's a very tiring, it's a very time-consuming process. So we have to check each and every paragraph. We have to check each and every sentence. We have to check each and every word. We have to check each and every letter. We're not done yet. We have to check each and every space. Really. So that's why we have to be very, very careful, especially when it comes to proofreading the document, and we want to make it the best quality, the best as possible. But make sure it's a final version of the document. If by the word final here, it means you will not add any more content into the document. You will not add anything because you are really sure that that's the final version of the document and you can start proofreading the document. Okay, let's move to the fourth part of the formula, RE. RE here is taken from two words, read and research. Okay, proofreading is a process that requires a lot of decision making. And sometimes the decision is really hard to make, that we have to do an extensive read and research. For example, if the proofreader does not know whether this grammar rule is here or there, or whether a word fits the context of a text or not, so they will find a good dictionary to help them. So with this read and research, with the fourth part of the formula, the best proofreading result will be produced. Let's move to the last part of the formula, AD. AD here is an abbreviation for attention to detail. Do you still remember when we discussed W, M, hyphen, multiplication symbol earlier? If you can be if you can pay to such an attention, you can produce the best proofreading result. So PROOFREAD is the formula that I create in order to advise proofreaders out there for them to get the best proofreading result. Let me show you this slide. An example of a document that earlier it contains a lot of mistakes and errors, and it's then given to a proofreader to be proofread, and after the process is done, the document is finally easy to understand and published by a reputable journal. Okay. So here we are to our destination. We have gone through 3 roads. The first one about book. The second one is about being able to pay attention to detail. And the third one is about spelling and grammar. So what's the point? What's the main point here? What's the idea here? The idea is even a great book needs proofreading. Okay? You can be your own proofreader for your own document. So, in order for you to produce the best document, please never skip this process. Proofread your document. Okay, before I end my speech, I would like to share with you this question that I received recently. Zaki, with the development of technology, we have all those mobile apps, all those software. What's the future of proofreaders? As much as I can see it now, I can say that proofreaders' future is still there. Okay, for example, I give this sentence to a computer software to check whether it's grammatically correct or not. And according to that computer software, I want to eat an elephant is a grammatical sentence. However, if you give that sentence to a human proofreader, the proofreader will tell you, are you crazy? Okay, great proofreader, great book. Thank you. Have a good evening.